Welcome back everyone to the ultimate guide to Blender 3D rigging and animation, and this is where we left you off. Alright, so let's get our small flames moving now. So if we come again to the location on the Z, I'm going to press hashtag, and I'm going to click on frame, and I'm going to press /, and then minus, and we'll put this onto 60, like so. Now what we'll do is we'll come to our mid flames, same thing again. So I'm going to click on the Z. I'm going to click hashtag frame minus, /, minus and 15, like so. And now press spacebar, you should end up with something like this, which you can see now is really nice. You can already see exactly how this is actually going to work out. Now the other thing is, if again, you can come down and change your gradient. So just don't forget, you've got a gradient on here where you can move it up if you want your flames not to be quite so thick down the bottom. I think I'm really happy with mine. So the next thing we need to do now is we need to actually bring in our colors, and then finally we can bring in our light flicker on top of that. Don't forget as well, we can also speed up how fast these are actually moving, because it's based on our actual, where is it? There it is. This here. So this is also, remember, had a driver as well. So if we want to change that, we just need to come to here, and you can change your driver from here like so. All right, so now let's go back to our flame and let's bring in some colors then. So let's come over first of all to our emission shader. Let's put it on a nice red or orangey red or something like that. And then what we'll do is we'll put the strength of it up to 6 or something. And you can see, am I happy with that color? I don't think so. I think I need to make it a little bit orangey. Yeah, something a little bit more like fire. Yeah, something like that maybe. All right, we'll start with that. And then as we work through them, we'll be able to change them on the fly. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to grab my ecosphere. So I'm just going to press Shift D. I'm going to rotate it. So RZ, rotate it round. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in, press the tab button. I'm actually going to just make this a little bit different. So I'm just going to press G, bring it in like so. And this one's basically going to be the hottest part of my actual flame. So I'm just moving it around like so. And then what I'm going to do now is press tab. I'm going to come down. I'm going to change this color to maybe you can see there, I need to actually duplicate the actual material as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over, I'm going to come to where it says flame red, and I need to change this to another one. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the plus. I want to call this flame white. So flame white, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. So if I come down to this, it'll say copy material. And then if I come to this, you can see paste material in. Now we should be able to, if I give it this color. So if I come to this one and just minus off this flame red, and there we go. And now if I come in and I put this on white, we should end up actually. Okay, I remember now. There's actually an issue where we need to, it takes a little bit of time actually to update for some reason. So I'm just going to unplug this. And there we go, it actually updated. Now, the thing is, why did it take so long to update? And the reason is because what I actually did in the end is I actually minused it off. So basically what I did was I came to where it said flame white, I took it off, and then what I did was I re-put it back on. So I actually come down to the little arrow here, and I think it's just a little bit of a bug actually in Blender. And then I'm just going to put it on flame white like so, and now you can see it's actually working. So now let's move it over like so, and if I press spacebar now, there we go. If I double tap the A as well, you've got an even better view of what it's actually going to look like. Now, the other thing is the red one, I don't actually want going as high. So if I click on the red, so you can see this is flame white, and let's try and hide that one out of the way. Let's click on the flame red. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back the actual gradient. So if you come down to here, where your gradient is, I'm actually then going to pull this back. So you can see here, we can pull it up or we can pull it back like so. If I press Alt H now to bring back this flame, now you can see it's looking a little bit better. All right, so now let's make one more. You can also see that they're kind of moving a little bit the same. If you want to change that as well, what you can do is you can come in to your mapping, click on it, and just put in something like, let's put this on 60 or something like that. And now if I press spacebar, now you can see they're actually moving very different. If I double tap the A now, there you go. All right, so I'm happy with that. Now let's bring in one more then, and we'll have this on a maybe either a real dark red or something like that. So I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to press Shift D, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in, make it smaller, like so, and I'm going to bring it down like so. All right, now what I want to do is I'm actually going to pull this up as well. So I'm going to grab the center of it. I'm going to press Shift Space Bar, bring in the move tool, and then just move it up like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this again. So we've got flame white, we've got flame, where is it? Flame red, let's hide that. Yeah, flame red. So let's have a flame yellow as well. So let's press Alt H. Let's come back then to the center one. So I want to come back to my center one, which is this one here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new one. So new, and we'll call it flame yellow. Like so. And also, I want to be able to change these as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also sort this out, because at the moment it's really, really hard to select them, and I really don't want that. So I'm just going to put all these up, just so it's nice and neat for when we come back in, like so. And it shouldn't take too long, and it's just an easier way then of dealing with it. Now, the flame, we should have then the flame. So we've got flame 1, flame 2, and then we've got flame 3, which are okay. So let me just see. So flame red, flame white, and then we've got the flame yellow. So I'm just going to, again, minus this off, and then I'm just going to paste this in. So paste material in. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to this now. I'm going to make it a yellow color. Now it's not going to change, of course. We know why. So if I minus that off now and then bring it back in. So I'll click the down arrow, flame. And then we're going to put it onto flame yellow. There we go. Now if I press Alt H, now everything comes in. Double tap the A. There we go. We have flames. All right. So these ones on the outside, they're probably... They're probably going the wrong way around at the moment. So the white ones should be the ones that are on the inside, and the yellow ones should be the ones on the outside. So let's change those around. So if I grab, I think it's this one here. Yes, it is. And then I'm going to press space, and I'm just going to bring these out a little bit like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the inside. I think it's that one. Yes, it is. And then come to the top one and then bring that out. And there we go. Now it's looking a lot more like an actual flame. All right, so I'm really happy with how that flame actually looks. Now the one thing that we need in is our flame flicker. So let's come back to modeling now. I'm going to press the tab button. And what I want to do is I want to bring in an actual point light. So I'm going to press Shift A. I'm going to come down. I'm going to bring in a point light. Let's move that over then. And you'll see that once I put on this, which because it's on Eevee, if I put this on now you can actually see our point light, but we don't actually get a lot of light off it at the moment because we need to actually bring it out a little bit. So if I come to my light settings over here, I've got a point light, and what I want to do is I want to turn up the power first of all. I want to turn up the color, so we want it on something that's kind of yellowy, orangey, something like that. Let's turn it up a little bit more. And that's also as well, you can turn up the radius, which gives you that kind of now, you know, this movement. Now, if I move this now, you can see that we can put it over here now. Now, the thing is when you put it, you don't actually want it over because it will basically destroy your light. So you don't want that. So what you want is something like there. Okay, so now we've got our point line, Tim. What we want to make sure is that, first of all, you're on Eevee. Let's set the screen space reflections on, and let's also turn on our actual render, and you should end up with something like this. Now, this might not be bright enough at this moment, believe it or not, so we'll just actually find out if it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my animation. I'm going to come back then to my actual light here, and then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set it on number 1, so frame 1, I'm going to press I, hovering over the actual power, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come all the way over to 200, I'm going to press I again, and that basically is just going to duplicate it over there. Next of all, now what I want to do is click on my actual point. You see we've got one that says power here. And now if I come over to this little arrow down here, I want to put it onto Graph Editor. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press N. And you'll see now that we've got actually all of these options here. The one we want is the actual modifier. Now don't worry, you won't actually be able to see anything yet. And the reason you can't see anything yet is because of the fact that this is around 200. So if I come and scroll up, you will see that we should, if we zoom in around... what is it? 270. Let's go to 270. There we go. So there is our actual graph here. Now the thing is, when I first did this, I couldn't actually see where the actual line was, but now I know that we have to actually move up to around where it is. So like so, you know, I want to bring these in a little bit, so I've actually got a better idea of what I'm actually looking at here. And the way to do that is simply come over to the right hand side, and you can actually bring this down now much closer together, which is going to make it so you can actually see much easier now what you're actually doing, because you can see these are much closer together. Let's bring them down even more, and now we've actually got a good idea. All right, so let's bring in that modifier. So click on modifier, let's bring in the noise, and you'll see already now that we've got something happening. Now what you want to do is you want to turn up the strength of the noise, and as you turn that up, you can see now that we're going to be bouncing around between 250-ish to around 300. So now if I put this on, press the space bar, now you end up with that beautiful flame flicker. Now, obviously, you can make this a lot more extreme. You can make this a lot brighter, for instance. All we need to do then is if we go back to frame 1 and we put this on something like 500, for instance. Oh, the other thing is I need to put this onto rendered view. There we go. Now we can actually see much better what that's doing. Now, let's put this on something like 1000 on this frame, and let's turn it up. So press I. You can see we've got a big jump there, and the reason is because we put it on frame 77, which is not something I want. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z. I'm going to come to frame 1, but at least you get an idea of understanding how this actually works. And let's put it on 2000 like so. Let's press the I button, and then let's come to frame 200, and again we'll put it on frame 200. So let's just move this up. Let's put it on to 2000 like so. Let's press the I button, and now I'm going to have to scroll all the way up now to see exactly where we are. So it's somewhere around here, and now if I press this, you can see you've got that tiny flicker, but at the moment I turn this up, so let's turn this up even higher like so. And now you can see it's very hard to see actually, but we can actually accentuate. Once you've got a few more actual walls around here, you'll be able to see it much more. But the higher I move this up and the more I pull this down, so let's pull this down just a little bit to 0.7. And now you can see it flickering away like so. And that's exactly what we want. It only needs to be subtle. Of course, you can make this much more pronounced like so. You can make it flicker much more like that. All right, so that's basically it for that one. Let's go now back to modeling, and let's have one more last look at this. And there's your light flickering away with your actual flame. All right, everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned a lot from that. Bit of a long one, this one, but we got there in the end. So the next one we're going to be covering is moss and light, and we'll see how we go with that one. All right, thanks a lot, everyone. Bye-bye.